What it do, y'all? I'm back again with another video. King Eric the Great from Off the Cuff Radio. And as we approach within the next few days the 10-year anniversary of Michael Jackson's death, I did this video for a reason, because I want to tackle on another issue regarding his death that many people don't really know about. It was pretty much brushed under the rug. Now, I did a video earlier this year about when they tried to take Michael out the game with that Leaving Neverland documentary garbage. But here, I want to read y'all some information here. That allegedly, Sony email leaks revealed sabotage plans for Michael Jackson's film deal and banned his angry video about race. Okay? For those who don't know, this incident happened in 2014. It was a big deal within the entertainment industry because the Sony leaks had President Obama under attack. It had Kevin Hart under attack. And it was from the woman that was a part of this sabotage deal against Michael's video. So let me read you guys the article to refresh your memories. They Don't Care About Us was denounced by the New York Times before it's even released, and it did not receive much of its intended audience because of the controversy caused by the New York Times article that will go on to overshadow the song itself. Bernard Rainroom, husband of Sony Pictures chief Amy Pascal, was the writer of the Times article. The same Amy Pascal who was at the center of these racially insensitive emails about other black entertainers such as Kevin Hart and President Barack Obama. Pascal was previously vice president of Columbia Pictures, where Jackson, who wanted to star in films, had a motion picture contract that was never fulfilled. Later, she became head of Sony Columbia Pictures. Jackson's recording contract was with Epic, a division of Sony. They Don't Care About Us was Jackson's statement against abuse of power and political corruption that enabled it. In the article, it was said the song They Don't Care About Us was inspired by two events: the acquittal of the officers in the Rodney King beating, as well as Michael Jackson being harassment by the DA conducting an investigation in his home with a strip search prior to any charges being filed. Bernard Rainroom's pre-release story accused Jackson of having bigoted lyrics in the song. This is what started that whole controversy. He described the entire History album as profane, obscure, angry, and filled with rage. The criticism seemed disingenuous as the lyrics were taken out of context. Many of Wainwright's email messages to Pascal was exposed that the Sony had. One advised her to fire the exec, which she probably did. Jackson and Spike Lee made two separate short films for They Don't Care About Us. He was not having a good relationship with Sony and Epic. There was friction there, Spike Lee said in a recent interview with Iconic magazine. But the first version, recorded in Brazil, featured the Afro-Brazilian drumming group Oludum. If you were familiar with the song, this is the version you probably seen, already in production at the time of the controversy. It uses sound effects to obscure the objectionable words. But the prison version is the tour de force. Jackson had even more to be angry about. Jackson and Lee chose to film in a Long Island jail, said Lee, because a lot of people in prison shouldn't be there. A lot of people are there for a much longer time. In American prisons, there are more brown and black people than white. Jackson would not win, though, at least not then. The prison version was banned from American TV. And this is exactly what I was talking about for years. You could check even the blog that I did around the time Jackson died 10 years ago, where this was a straight up sabotage meant to take Michael down because he acquired so much power. He did it in ways where it was also in Machiavellian fashion. He didn't go over there turning tables. He understood publishing. He understood paperwork. He didn't come through negotiating for nigger pennies. He negotiated art. That's what made Michael's music so much, because he treated his music as art. He didn't treat it as SoundCloud music. And that art in return gave him leverage. And that made a lot of those higher-ups mad. And the sad part about it is during this time, nobody really rode with Michael. Everybody was too busy picking on him. Then you had the so-called black leaders like Russell Simmons and Al Sharpton and Steve Stout. they all turned their head. They all turned their head when Michael needed them. Because they were scared that Tony Mottola was going to probably blackball him out the game. And Michael was dropping a lot of wisdom and game in his final years when it came to him taking on the industry on about how they treat black artists and how they try to sabotage you when you start gaining more power. He even said that Sony feared me because I outthink them. And this is some game that a lot of artists today should take heed in. Study up on Michael. Study up on how he moved. Not just that he's an entertainer. Study up on how he used leverage to gain power. Power is in publishing. We talked about this on tonight's show with Common from Screwball. Power is in publishing. Publishing could feed generations. That's generations of wealth. So for Michael to be able to flip the game like he did, they had to get him out the paint. They had to find a way to justify to get him out. And this Sony leak is another part of what this corruption plan was from the start. They try to sabotage his legacy because they know the youth don't really know. So they want to go ahead and dirty up his legacy so nobody would take on his traits. So that's my opinion about that. I just want to drop that gem on y'all. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Rest in peace, Michael. We still riding with you. Peace.